Okay, this is our final chapter, chapter 12, integrating technology and creating change as teacher leaders, which is something we want you all to be. The learning outcomes for this chapter are identify technology integration stages and issues, discuss digital inequality and the participation gap rather, analyze key technology and educational change dynamics, discuss how teachers can use the technology they have in classrooms to promote successful learning, and finally, summarize ways teachers can become technology leading educators in schools. There are no focus questions for this chapter, so we're just going to plow right in. Technology does not automatically trigger change. Human beings have to trigger change. We can use technology to assist us in that, but technology for technology's sake is not a way to trigger change. Um, Two elements are needed for successful change. First, you have to have a focused mindset as a teacher on your content. It doesn't matter what content you are in terms of this course. You can be in phys ed, elementary ed, pre-ed, pre-education major, technology education major, whatever. But you have to have good content in your area before you use technology. I stated before you even consider using technology in a lesson plan, you need to have the lesson plan done. You need to have all the pedagogical content in there that is going to include goals, objectives, standards, all those types of things before we even consider technology. Um, it says multiple pathways. It's about how technology is used, not the amount of technology that is available, and that's very true. Technology using educator is one who makes informed choices. Um, Again, not using technology for the sake of having technology, but using technology to improve learning. And that's a skill that this course should help you with, and hopefully has helped you with, because we know we have to have good content before we use technology. So, exploring technology, we want our students to be creators and critics of technology, not just consumers, and that applies to you as well. Um, we want you to explore technology that's going to be able to help you as teachers. So, and you become creators and critics of technologies, but we also want your students to be too. So, we have to do that. Promote change, not change for change's sake. Again, same as not using technology for technology's sake, but to increase students' learning potential. Technology is an innovative way to rethink the way things are done. And we have to consider that our students are going to be using technology the rest of their lives. They have been using technology probably up to this point in their lives, and it's something we have to recognize, but we have to use it wisely. There's this notion of inclusion and infusion of technology, and it says infusion or inclusion or infusion. Well, you can have a little bit of both. There's no rules that says you can't. So inclusion says technology used for traditional purpose of transferring information and practicing skills. Technology included in daily activities but not central to them and has a whole group focus. The infusion is technology's ongoing infused feature of teaching and learning. Technology is a part of day-to-day educational experience and students regularly use computers. Well, we can do both. And it's just a happy medium of where you want your technology to be. Stages of integration for students, we have the entry level, which is going to be your lower grades, beginning to learn, gain skills Generally, they already have these by now. They've already got skills to learn, but there's going to be new stuff they need to learn, like how to submit papers electronically, for example, something like that. Adoption, blending technology into current class practices, adaptation, full integration using technology regularly, appropriation, confident use as in and out of class tool, and invention, exploring new ways to use, adding emerging technologies. Now, entry, adoption, adaptation, appropriation are all going to be things that are probably already going to be inherent in most of your students. Invention is what you want to focus on, exploring new ways to use, adding emerging technologies. We'll talk about some emerging technologies in a minute. Features of a technology integrated classroom. Is a technology integrated classroom about the tools? Well, no. Again, you can have all the great tools and technologies out there, but if you're not using them properly to teach with, they might as well be not there. It should be an actions that result from the tools. Issues that we have, administrative support and teaching style. Um, New software and new hardware requires training, and you need to have support from your administrators, and oftentimes you will, but sometimes you don't. So, um, but generally, administrators are on board with most of this stuff. Um, if there's a teacher that has a teacher-centered approach, meaning they want to do all the delivery of their content without necessarily using technology, that can be a problem. And that's generally, unfortunately, older teachers who don't want to deal with technology. Some of the younger teachers don't want to deal with it as well, but by and large, most teachers are very confident with technology, but there are going to be some out there that don't want to use them. The unwillingness to change favorite lesson plans to include technology, well, again, that's going to be your veteran teachers who have fast and ready lesson plans, and they don't want to take the time to integrate technology into them. Sometimes those lessons don't need it, but that can be an issue. And then reluctant to use technology in new lesson plans. Some consider it an added burden of planning technology use and organizing a new lesson plan. But again, you should have a good lesson plan before you even consider technology. Once you have a good lesson plan, then you figure out, can technology help me? By and large, it can. But first, you need to have good content. The use of technology as reward or punishment. You don't want to do that. You don't want to tell a child, hey, you've been bad, you don't get to use the computer today. You find somewhere else, some other way to punish them, but don't punish them by not letting them be on the computer or something like that. Using technology as an add-on or other activities, technology added for technology's sake, not for real educational reasons. Again, we don't want to use technology for technology's sake. Use of technology to separate students by ability groups. We don't want to do that either, because that's telling students who may not be as fast as other students that, hey, I'm not worth it, and it's the have and have not syndrome again. All students should learn the same things as far as technology goes, and it may take some other students more time, but that's just what we have to do, and eventually, hopefully, they will get it. Digital inequalities and the participation gap. Well, there's going to be inequalities. We know that. We tend to think that all schools have all these computers and all the students have computers at home and printers and all that stuff. It's not true. I have a graduate student who works at NIMS Middle School right down the road on Orange Avenue. He tells me 65% of the students there do not have computers in their homes. They don't have cell phones like everybody thinks, um, and there are issues. Um, so the digital divide is there, but the government is trying to do things about it. Comcast, for example, is providing free internet to those who need it through the government. Same with Embark, I believe, or whatever the new thing, whatever the the new cable company out there is. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but there's two or three internet providers here in Tallahassee that are doing that, and that's indicative of the country now. We're trying very hard to get everybody internet access, just like we're trying to get everybody cell phones. And again, with the cell phones, everybody calls them Obama phones. Well, they're not Obama phones. They came about during the Reagan administration in the 80s. The government doesn't pay for them. You know who pays for them? You pay for them through a tax for your cell phone bill. There's a tax in there of all the little taxes you see in there. One of them is a tax that provides cell phones to people who need them, and they have to prove that they need them. The same thing's happening with the internet. Your Comcast bill, your other bills, Dish Network, whatever. Um, there's the tax in there, and that pays for people who need the internet. So this notion of the Obama phone is really not true. The government really has nothing to do with it much. Different access to technology means different experience with technology. Again, high income households are going to have all the bells and whistles. Uh, they say African American Latino students more likely to access internet primarily via mobile phone. That may or may not be true. It's whether you have money or not, and that's the issue. More technology in homes and schools will not solve the problem, they say. Well, I take issue with that. Uh, the more technology in terms of basics in the homes will solve the problem. Not all this, not more technology, bells and whistles, but just basic internet, basic computer with Word and Microsoft Office on it, whatever, for students to be able to do their work will solve the problem. Uh, it does cause a participation gap between students and can be an issue. Um, it's saying adding technology can actually increase the gap, not close it. Your book talks about this. I don't necessarily agree with it, but they do put up an argument. You should read that, and that will probably be on the quiz. Integrating technology while addressing the participation gap, one-on-one laptop computing. Every student has a device for use in school, and we try to do that. We have carts that have, 25 computers, laptop computers on them. Those are becoming more and more common. Um, Driven by new machines, required college use, and research studies showing positive results with those types of things. The Bring Your Own, the BYOT programs. Um, a lot of times, if students have phones, we can use that to our advantage. A lot of students have tablets now, but again, there's going to be the have and have nots. So that's kind of a sticky situation there too, because some students are not going to be able to participate, and if they don't, or not able to rather, we have to accommodate them. The 1, 2, 3 time activity small groups works facilitated by technology. Read that in your book. Cooperative learning and group work. Use technology to prepare and present. Yes, we know that. We can have interactive digital textbooks. We've talked about those and how those are coming about. This issue of maintaining existing patterns and creating change, we can automate or informate, automate learning from computers and learning with computers. It goes a little bit further here. Technology can automate, reproduce existing practices, or informate, change existing practices. We kind of want to keep both. We want to have existing practices, but we want to use technology to try to enhance them, not necessarily change them. So this is a fun graphic, and you can read it, and that's basically the explanation of it. Mind tools are computer-based tools and environments that partner with the learner to engage and facilitate higher-order thinking. And mind tools are computer can be computer-generated type things, um, but there are paper-based mind tools as well. Um, so technology is using from moving from learning from computers to learning about computers and onto learning with computers, or a state of being a mind tool. State or being a mind tool. So we're essentially just trying to get the students to become so familiar with the computers that, and they're learning about the computers themselves, how they work, and then they can learn much better with the computers. And there are several types of mind tool things out there that you should explore. 5 ways that students learn with computers or mind tools. They support knowledge construction. They support exploring. They support learning by doing rather than being told what to do. Learn by conversing. And computers are intellectual partners to support learning by reflecting. What did they learn in their own words? This reflecting piece is very important. The different types of technologies, we know those: computers, hardware, software, and then computer lab. Um, Strategies for single and multiple computer classrooms. We want computers to always uh, be on call, and we can use them as librarians and tutors. Um, the librarians, the librarian nowadays is not the one that just helps you find a book. They are there to help you get on the computer, find the things that you need on the computer. So the librarian role has changed significantly. We have interaction, presentation types of things, and then rotation, small groups of 1, 2, 3 time formats. So a lot of times in your classrooms, you may have 20 kids, you may not have 20 computers. So you may have 5. So you rotate the kids. 5 kids are going to work for 15, 20 minutes. They're going to rotate to something else that use pencil and paper or read or whatever. And you just rotate and rotate until everybody has had a chance to be on the computer. Integrating iPads and other stuff. Well, those are all good, and you can create small group assignments with one of those. So if you have 20 kids and 5 iPads, you're doing good. You can do stuff like that. You can use the iPad tablet to display images during story or discussion, which is going to just basically be a PowerPoint presentation, I would imagine. Give similar assignments to rotate across multiple devices, and then ask students to compare experience. So you can compare an iPad with a regular computer, what you can do with an iPad versus what you can do with a computer, and vice versa, those types of things. Becoming a technology leading teacher. This is what we want you to be as a leader. Um, it's just not defined by a place in the hierarchy. And a hierarchy just means, example, for the College of Education, the head of the College of Education is the dean, and we have associate deans, then we have chairs of departments, Then we have coordinators of programs, and then we have faculty members, and then the students, or we have support staff, then the students. That's a hierarchy of the College of Education. So just because I'm a faculty member and not an associate dean or a dean does not mean I cannot show leadership in terms of technology, and that could be true with you too. Just because you're not the principal does not mean you cannot show leadership, and you should. Even young teachers, first, second, third year teachers, can be leaders. And they can do that by writing grants, working with computers, using colleagues. You forge partnerships and alliances that way. And again, joining professional organizations and presenting at these organizations and being involved in these organizations. That's something you should all do. Celebrate Digital Learning Day. Well, there is a day out there called Digital Learning Day. And we go back to NIMS Middle School. The principal there during Digital Learning Day, if the students do everything they want, he'll do something really crazy like eat dog food or dress up like in a woman's cheerleader outfit or something. If the students do what they're supposed to do during Digital Learning Day. And it promotes greater awareness of digital learning impact. So when we do this on Digital Learning Day, and I'm not sure exactly what day on the calendar it is, I have to admit, start a conversation in person or online about computers and education, try new teaching strategies and educational technology tools on a regular basis, and showcase innovative practice using social media. I will find out what day Celebrate Digital Learning Day is, and I will have it in the comments of this video. Involving students in technology and change. Again, the more students are involved, the more they're likely to embrace it. If they're just given cursory or small bits and pieces, they may not be as likely to embrace it. We have to immerse them as much as possible, but again, not doing it for technology's sake. They are already technology experts. You know that. They work with technology on a daily basis. They know how to exchange knowledge with others, and they're constantly updating skills with new tools. So we know that going in, so we have to do that. The future of technology in the classroom, well, there's these things called digital pens, and they just look like a Sharpie, and you can write on any surface, and they'll record what you're writing, and then you can convert it to a Word document. They have digital notepads. You know what those are in tablet PCs. I'm going to show you a new thing out there that I really like. It's called zSpace, and we're trying to get that down at the DRS through a grant I'm writing. And take a look at it real quick. Hopefully. There we go. I had it there for a second. Bear with me. But this is a 3D virtual demo, and it's really cool. I got to see it at a conference I went to a few months ago, and it doesn't seem to. There we go. Sorry about that. But you can see the person actually wears some glasses, and this is what they see. When you watch them, they're just playing with a pen on a computer. You can't really see it. This is called holographics, and it's really a new, innovative way to get students to learn. Costs a lot of money, but it's out there, and check it out, zspace.com, if you're interested in that. But we should always be looking at new technologies. Finally, the last slide of the semester, Yahoo, is developing a technology learning mindset. We want you to be technological leaders, and to be that, it requires that you have continual creative and critical thinking with terms of technology. It's going to take time and effort. You should create networks with not only tutors, but other people just to help each other, get colleagues out there to help you. Know that there is always more to learn. There's this notion of lifelong learning, and that's something I try to do every day. I try to learn something new, and I would implore you to do that as well. Technology keeps you and your students learning, growing, and leading learning together. That is very true. So become technological leaders. That is my advice to you. This is the last chapter, and thank you for listening to my video lectures.